Hi, it's Darnell with Way Loving Recipes, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Ninja Foodi NeverStick Cake Pan and going to be using it in the Ninja Combi All-in-One Multicooker Oven and Air Fryer. And so let's check it out. Okay, so the pan comes in some no-frills packaging. Just get it out the bag here, and there you go. And so I'll probably do a little bit of measuring, but you know, they got this little insert that tells you about the pan. These pans are made out of, usually this Ninja stuff's made out of like aluminum with some type of a coating that they put on it. If it was my choice, it'd be stainless steel, but they're using their chemicals and aluminums, and I recommend you do your research on that. But we're going to roll with this to show you how it works out. The one and maybe only benefit is that things don't stick. But you see here it's 10 inches across this way, about 9¼ inches that way. Let's try and get diagonal. Diagonally we've got 12 inches that way. The depth is 2 inches. And the amount of room you get inside is 8 inches that way, and an accurate 8 inches that way. So it is an 8 by 8, and you have your other dimensions there to work with for, you know, any of your needs as far as using this pan. Okay, so now I just wanted to tell you what I did with the pan before I put it to use. Just like with any of these countertop cookers or their accessories, I had to burn off on it. I put it in one of my ovens. I mean, you could use the Combi if you want or whatever, but high heat for about 20 minutes, highest temperature setting about 20 minutes, to burn off any stuff that was used in the manufacturing of the product. And it's always some interesting smells. That's all I'll say about that. But now I'm going to go ahead and cook up some almond flour chocolate chip cookies so you see how they turn out. But first I want to show you how they turn out if you try and use the bake tray that comes with this cooker. So I'm going to show you that first now. Alright, so let's go over the ingredients for these cookies. I've got 2 cups of blanched almond flour here. I've got 1 cup of water that's going to go into the pot there, because I'm going to be using the Combi Bake function to cook these cookies. And I've got 2 tablespoons of a granulated sweetener. Use the one of your choice. Since I'm not using a lot, I'm going to be using a urethral monk fruit Berlin for this. Got 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of guar gum. I've got a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, of sea salt here. I've also got 3/4 cup of dark chocolate chips. I've got 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 large eggs, and I'm also going to be adding in 2 tablespoons of raw honey. I've got one other ingredient as well. I need to grab that because that's been heating up. I've got 1/4 cup of melted butter. You probably can't see it, but it's in there. Basically what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take the wet ingredients, get them into this bowl mixed up, dry ingredients in that bowl over there mixed up. Alright, so I've got the wet stuff in the wet bowl, dry stuff in the dry bowl. So I'm going to take the wet stuff, put it over into the dry stuff, like this. I'll make sure I get all my wet stuff, because I'm going to need all of it. Try and mix into these cookies. Alright. Let's start mixing this up. And I'm going to take that cup of water now and just go ahead and pour it into the Combi pot in there. So that's going to be making our steam for the Combi bake. There. I've got the bake tray here. I'm going to cook the cookies on the bake tray. I sprayed some extra light olive oil on the bake tray. Don't confuse extra light olive oil with normal olive oil or virgin olive oil or extra virgin. Extra light's totally different. Makeup of olive oil, it is able to handle high heat, helps make things like non-stick, and I use a pump sprayer for it, so it's not like a can aerosol sprayer that doesn't taint the flavor at all either. Now I'm going to take and basically spoon out a dozen cookies onto the bake tray here. So I just get some for myself, kind of a cookie. And these will be like kind of puffy, soft cookies. They won't be really slim, crunchy cookies. Alright, so I've got a dozen cookies laid out here, like that. So now I'm going to take this bake tray and put it up there on the top rack. Like that. I'm going to close things up. I'm going to turn the light off and adjust the camera a little bit. And now with everything inside, turning the cooker on. And I'm going to flip up the switch to go to Combi Cook. Going to lower the temperature to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And going to set the time, leave it at 15 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and hit start. And we'll see how long that preheat takes before it actually starts doing the actual cooking. Alright, so it started counting down. I'll have the time on the screen of really that preheat's kind of just getting things steamed up, making it steamy in there, and then it starts to cook. And so it's like, it's not, I mean, it's like a preheat, but at the same time it's like getting steam going to start cooking things kind of with the steam, and then it starts to cook with that heat coming down from the top. So may not need the full 15 minutes, but keep an eye on things and we'll see how it looks later. Alright, things have been going for 7.5 minutes, which is half of the cooking time, and I'm going to open up and check because things are looking like they're getting really cooked up in there. Yeah, those cookies are getting really cooked up. It's just some kind of on this side aren't getting as cooked as the ones over to the left. That's interesting. Let me just, yeah, they're done. 7.5 minutes. And see how those look there. I'm going to set them aside and let them rest, but it's interesting you see this one here, you know, like over in this area here, it's not as done as everywhere else. That's interesting. I'm going to set them aside for a while, let them cool down a bit. Okay, so they've had time to cool down a bit, so I'm going to get the lightest one right here. See the bottom and the top, and going to get, let's get one from the very opposite side, the very opposite end. This one here. See the top of that one. See the bottom. So let's go ahead and do a taste test of both of these. So thank God for some cookies. Let's taste. I'll try the lighter one first. So let's taste this. Okay, so this one, it's cooked, but it's like just barely there fully cooked. You know what I mean? Just barely there fully cooked. I would not have stopped cooking things earlier, because then this one would have been even less cooked and it wouldn't have been cooked fully through. It's like just there fully cooked, you know, like it just made it. Now this one, we'll try this one. Okay, turned out good. 7.5 minutes, great cooking time. I like how the steam, it seems that moisture helps the cookies really kind of really puff up a lot more than they would in other cookers. So it turned out really nice. Things cook up really well in the cooker. I'm really impressed with how things function. I don't use bake in this cooker. I use Combi Bake because Combi Bake makes everything turn out better. Everything turns out really nice with that steam going on. And when I stopped to cook, there was still about half of the water still in the pot. So it would have kept steaming all the way through probably. So real nice. And so, you know, I'm impressed. I like it. Okay, now that you've seen how it goes using the bake tray and things get a little overdone on the top, we're going to see how it turns out with using this 8x8 inch bake tray. And I have shown in the initial review, if you check it out, how you could use a 9-inch round bake pan in this cooker. But I wanted to get one of these official Ninja 8-inch bake trays and see how it turns out with this. So I'm going to basically go ahead and mix together the same ingredients that I used for the previous cook you just saw, but putting the cookies into this pan here. Okay, so I've turned the light off so you can see the display. One thing I wanted to point out, due to this pan's smaller size, I've had to do just 9, basically form it into 9 cookies instead of a dozen. Now, in order to bake with this method, first you take the crisper pan and you put that in on top of the combi pot. So I'm doing that now. Just put that crisper pan in there on top of the combi pot. Then you take 1 cup of water. So I've got a cup here, distilled water. If you haven't seen the review of my water distiller, you can see that as well here on the channel, as well as over 80 cooker reviews and over 800 other videos. Plenty to see here. Now that I've put the crisper tray and the water in, I take the bake pan and I set that in, set it on top of the crisper tray. Okay. Now I close things up and turn the cooker on. I've got it set to the combi cooker setting. That little flipper is up for combi cooking. And I'm going to go up to combi bake. I'm going to use 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And for the time, I'm going to bring it down to, you know, it took 7.5 for the other way. I mean, I'll put 10, but I probably won't need 10, so I'll just set it to 10 to have something even to count down from. But I'm going to hit start. We'll see how long it takes for things to go through the preheat and start the countdown of the cook. Alright, things started counting down after a nice long warm-up there. And we'll see how long the cook phase takes, and I'll bring you back when things look like they're done. Alright, so I'm going to stop these at 7.5 minutes, just like the earlier cook. And pop that open there. Let's see how things are looking. That's how they look. Trying to feel without touching a chocolate chip. I think we're good. I'm going to pull them like this, but you can tell me what you think of that. Okay, so with the cook done, see how things look. It looks like these were the ones that were kind of over on this side where things seem to cook a little lighter, and it still seems like you do get a slightly lighter cook over on this upper end, even when it's lower. I mean, it's more even overall, but still a little lighter over there. But 7.5 minutes, not as overcooked over the top, although we get less in. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take the one right out the smack dab middle and try that one out. So here we go. So I got this one out. You see the top, you see the back. So let's go ahead and do a taste test. So thank God for the cookie, kind of poofy cookie. Let's taste. Okay, so it tastes good and it's moist. That steaming, I really like combi bake. I like it more than regular bake because it just brings a lot more moisture to the meal. And so that's really good. I'm not worried over, time, and some people, if you want fast, do it another way, whatever. I like this way. So wanted to show you the bake pan, show you how things turn out, show you the difference so that you can make your own decisions. And as I said in the initial review of this cooker here on the channel, I used the bake pan, kind of showed you a jerry-rigged way to use that and how things turn out using that. It's not bad doing that way either, but whatever you want to do is up to you. So nothing in the video sponsored, nothing given to me. And in the video description there are lots of ways to help the channel, such as my cookbook, merch, membership, donations. Link to the Amazon shop where you pay the same price, help the channel. Also, you can check out my blog, superwaveovenrecipes.com. Again, that's superwaveovenrecipes.com. There is a buy me a coffee link if you choose to go that route. And so, with all of that said, if you did like the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Share the video with a friend, leave your comments, subscribe, hit that notification icon, and good eating.